Welcome back to Education Matters. Did you correctly answer D? As of December 31, 2015, the last report, there were 207,884,000 retirees in the state health plan, 36% of total enrollment. So we're back to talk more about the elimination of retiree medical benefits, this time where they focus on the impact on education. Joining us we have Justin Parmenter. Justin is a teacher in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. It's the Waddell Language Academy, which sounds like a really cool foreign language immersion program in Charlotte. And then we have Dr. Anthony Jackson. Dr. Jackson is the superintendent of Vance County Schools. Now, I'm going to start with you, Justin. The reason why I reached out to you about the show, you actually had an op-ed that you published in the News and Observer. So let me see, a loss of retiree health care benefit could worsen North Carolina's teacher shortage. So I guess I'm giving a little bit of a spoiler that we already know how you feel about it, but this was a couple of weeks ago. Why did you decide to, step out as a teacher to write a piece like this about retirees and future benefits? Why do you think this is important?
Well, the reason I wrote the article is because I was really dismayed about the lack of conversation there was going on around what to me was a provision that stands to have a really negative impact on our ability to recruit and retain teachers in North Carolina. And I felt that the way that the General Assembly went about this, burying it on page 406 of the budget, zero transparency, was intended to reduce the chance of having to have a difficult conversation, and so I thought I'd do my small part in making sure there was a conversation going on.
Right. Well, I think, did you get some feedback from teachers and others?
I did. Teachers, of course, the feedback was very positive. Teachers, I think, know as well as anyone that the most important factor in determining the success of a student is having a good quality teacher in the classroom. Right. So they appreciated it, but from non-teachers, the response was more mixed. I had some people told me they felt that if this benefit is not available in the private sector, then it also shouldn't be available in the public sector. Right. They didn't want to talk about the difference in compensation between private and public sectors. Right. But one person also told me that they felt that teachers, when they sign on, aren't looking that far down the road, that they're more concerned about whether or not they'll be able to pay their mortgage, which may be true in some cases, right, but I thought kind of sold the millennials a little bit short.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, Dr. Jackson, you have the responsibility as superintendent. Of course, you're responsible for all the children in Vance County schools, but you've got a lot of hiring to do. And you're dealing with, I think you said before the show, about 20% turnover right now in terms of teachers leaving each year. Do you think something like this is going to have an impact on the challenges you already have?
Absolutely. I think what we have to, go back to is the social contract. I think that has existed for many, many years between public sector employees and the general public. We are challenged regionally because of the competitiveness issue, and this becomes one of the levers in that package. We have to be able to give individuals, they accept a lower salary, understanding that. Coming in, they accept that. We have to be able to offer them something that talks about, if you give over time, here's the benefit at the end that we're going to look out for you. So that social contract is very, very important.
And it was intentional. I mean, this wasn't something that the state stumbled into. There's a
Correct.
Reason why every other state offers it. Correct. And the federal government, same thing. I mean, you don't get, these are, in many cases with educators, I mean, like you, PhDs, advanced degrees, that could be more well compensated, let's put it in the private sector, and it's something that you say, look, this is a calling, but we also make sure we take care of you.
Right.
Right. Justin, you've seen it in Charlotte. We were talking to Dr. Jackson earlier. He's just a few miles from Virginia. You've seen colleagues and teachers leave and go to other states over just salary issues that we know we've had some issues in North Carolina not being competitive with other states. Something like this, I think your op-ed made it pretty clear this will be just sort of one more challenge for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now it's a critical time for us to redouble our efforts on recruitment, and there are so many strikes against teachers already that we just don't need one more thing to have teachers consider not coming to North Carolina in the first place. And
so, Dr. Jack, you've been feeling, I know you said you've been feeling the turnover, but I guess there's also just the issue of having to deal, like, you got to fill the slots, right? The kids are coming. And as public schools, we have to teach them. But you've had to do, we hear these things like full-time subs and things
Absolutely.
like that, which is...
We are using all sorts of new strategies to fill classrooms. from long-term substitutes to international teachers to lateral entry. That process is clogged because we have to use more and more teachers who have not chosen teaching as their primary profession. So those are very real conditions right now, and you couple that with the reduction of individuals going into education now, we see the long-term impact. We're having right now, it's slowing us down, but when you look down the road, it's going to be it will have a substantial impact on our abilities to put a quality teacher in front of every child, which is my primary responsibility.
Right. Now, Justin, how long have you been teaching? You teach 7th grade, right?
Yes, sir. I just finished my 22nd year. The last 15 of those have been in North Carolina.
So you've seen a lot of changes, and one of the things that I hear from teachers like you and the teachers that I talk to are these. We've made some progress on salary. I mean, let's be honest, we really have made some good progress on salary the last few years, and I think the General Assembly ought to be recognized for that. But then you got seem like the other things, sort of the rest of the table is being cut out from under you, whether it's school resources, master's pay. I believe we're sort of in that early part of that number of TAs. Have you seen, and do teachers talk about that, sort of the lack of sort of support outside of pay?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there have been some moves in the right direction, but overall, things are definitely continue to get worse. I mean, compensation continues to lag behind that of other states. We have other states coming in, holding job fairs in North Carolina to lure our teachers away. I think some numbers that I found from the DPI's annual turnover reports are, since 2011, 168% increase in the number of teachers who are leaving to teach in other states. And now we have, population that continues to grow 15% just over the last 10 years. We have a continued decline in the number of students who are entering teacher preparation programs. And against all that as a backdrop, now we have Senate Bill 599, which Chad Barefoot introduced, which proposes to allow private for-profit organizations to operate teacher preparation programs in North Carolina, which seems to me to be an acknowledgement that we have a pipeline problem.
Right. Well, I think that we are. I think you've seen it. I mean, we've had enough of y'all guests on, but we are just about out of time. But look, like I said, we know the pipeline issues are real. There's not one single answer, but I guess you would say something like this is certainly not a step in the right direction.
Well, I think that the pipeline can be addressed, and I think we have to be pretty strategic. I think compensation is one of the issues. Benefits will be one of those issues, but we also have to look at working conditions and quality of life. All of that works together, and if we can put together that package, I think we can win.
Very good. Thank you both for being here. Great insights. Thanks so much. After the break, this week's Leadership Spotlight.